Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm Lisa and this is Mike and this is our Forever Holiday.
This is the first in a series of videos detailing our second season of full-time RV adventures. We camped in 7 campgrounds all over Florida. We fished, we hiked, we kayaked, and we searched for manatees, among other activities.
Welcome to Tarpon Springs, Florida. This is St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Cathedral. Greek immigrants arrived during the 1890s to work in the sponge industry. Tarpon Springs has the largest concentration of Greeks in the United States. Greek markets and pastry shops are located in several places around the town. Greeks were drawn to Tarpon Springs to work in the sponge industry, which became the leading industry. We really enjoyed the sponge docks, where you'll find boat tours reenacting sponge dives. You can also find local shops that sell sponges and many restaurants that serve Greek food. Around 1876, arriving visitors spotted tarpon jumping out of the waters, and so they named the location Tarpon Springs. While exploring Tarpon Springs, we came across Bayou Springs, and we noticed there were manatee in Bayou Springs, so we decided to take our kayak over here to get a closer look. There's a lot of antebellum homes around this little spring area. This was where the original springs were in Tarpon Springs, and the manatee are here in this alcove, and we're hoping we're going to run into some and be able to see them. Several of them coming to the surface here. There's one right by us, right here. 2 of them. We're in Weeki Wachee River and we are kayaking, and the water is so clear here. In fact, you can see right down to the bottom, and we are hoping we can see some manatee today. So this is going to be a neat experience. Looking forward to it. More to come.
Unfortunately for us, we saw no manatees on our Weeki Wachee kayaking trip. We did see a few fish. Keep watching to see if our luck changes. We saw many types of birds, including a wild turkey stampede behind our camper.
Here are the other birds that we observed. Brown pelican, noisy miner, great blue heron, great egret, and white pelicans.
Our next stop was Matlacha, near Fort Myers, where we watched beautiful sunrises over Matlacha Pass.
Mike and I decided to go kayaking in Matlacha Pass in our tandem inflatable kayak. As we rounded the corner and paddled up the channel, we saw brown and white pelicans in the water. As we went further, we saw a bunch of white pelicans in the trees overhead. Look at them all in the trees
see
back
that.
there.
Let's go on up there, we'll see it. Can you roll on taking pictures?
Yeah.
Pretty brave souls,
I'm
aren't
not
they?
worried about us, believe me.
Look
Oh
at the
my
big
gosh,
boat up there.
what a picture, huh?
No kidding.
They were so beautiful.
We're seeing a dolphin right here by our campsite.
Growing up in Louisiana, I really enjoyed fishing with my parents in their boat out in the Gulf of Mexico and Lake Pontchartrain. Here in Florida, Matlacha was a wonderful spot to fish, and this pass where I'm fishing was so much fun.
Our luck seeing manatees improved when we took our kayak out in Manatee Park in Fort Myers.
Hi! Hi dear! What you doing? You gonna stick your nose up? Hi! Hi! Oh my gosh, what a great picture. Look at that. What a great picture.
We toured the adjacent winter estates of Thomas Edison and Henry Ford along the Caloosahatchee River in Fort Myers, Florida.
Starting in 1908, the Edisons made many renovations to their property, and during this time, the family dining room was converted into this lovely library. The ornate ceiling lighting fixture. It's called an electrolier, one of the earliest electric lighting fixtures that Edison began producing in 1880. Welcome to the dining room, where many famous guests dined, including President-elect Herbert Hoover, writer and naturalist John Burroughs, industrialists Harvey Firestone, and automobile tycoon Henry Ford. The Edison dining table is made of mahogany.
This is Thomas Edison's Florida laboratory, where he conducted many experiments, one of which was attempting to find an alternative to rubber to make tires.
This is the winter home of Henry Ford. The Fords first visited Fort Myers in 1914. They were invited by Thomas Edison to go camping in the Florida Everglades. 2 years later, Robert Smith, the entrepreneur who built this 1911 Craftsman-style bungalow, wrote to Henry Ford, "I have just placed my winter home on the market, and it occurs to me that as you have visited Mr. Edison there and have seen his property, which is the next adjoining property, you might be interested in it, either for yourself or some of your friends." In 1916, Ford bought the home for $20,000. Henry Ford and his wife Clara and son Edsel visited Fort Myers for about 2 weeks a year. They usually timed their visit to celebrate Thomas Edison's birthday on February 11th. The rest of the year, the family resided in Fairlane, their estate in Dearborn, Michigan. Look at the dining area. The china on the dining room table was Clara Ford's favorite, the Columbia pattern made by the Wedgwood Company. In 1896, while working for the Edison Illuminating Company, Henry Ford met Thomas Edison at a company convention. Edison encouraged the young industrialist to continue his mechanical pursuits. Over the years, the two became close friends. In 1903, Ford founded the Ford Motor Company, which produced millions of Model Ts, making it one of the best-selling vehicles of all time.
Before leaving Fort Myers, we toured the Wicked Dolphin Rum Distillery. Yum! Moving into North Florida, our next stop was St. Augustine, where we enjoyed touring the old city, starting with wine tasting and lunch with live music on the balcony at San Sebastian Winery. And then Citygate Rum Distillery, where we found something unique. Peanut butter flavored rum. Yummy!
Be sure not to miss out on the Cathedral Basilica of St. Augustine. It was built during the Second Spanish period from 1793 to 1797.
Not far from the Basilica of St. Augustine rests the Castillo de San Marcos, which is Spanish for St. Mark's Castle. It is the oldest masonry fort in the continental United States. Construction began in 1672, 107 years after the city's founding. It has been renamed several times, including Fort St. Mark and Fort Marion. The fort was declared a national monument in 1924 and turned over to the United States National Park Service in 1933. In 1942, it was renamed with its original name, Castillo de San Marcos. Possession of the fort has changed 5 times, all peaceful, among 4 different governments: Spain, the Kingdom of Great Britain, the United States, and the Confederate States of America. Owing to its strategic cannon placement and star-shaped design, the fort was never breached or taken by force throughout its various stages of sovereign ownership.
This large cross is where Spanish explorers arrived in eastern Florida in 1565. It marks the site where the first Catholic Mass in what would eventually become the United States was celebrated. It is now the National Shrine of La Leche. The shrine to the Blessed Virgin Mary, nursing the infant Jesus, was originally built in 1609 and is a popular pilgrimage site, especially for prayers concerning pregnancy.
From our campground in St. Augustine, we made the drive out to Silver Springs State Park for some kayaking and to try our luck at finding manatees again. We only found one sticking his nose up out of the water right near our kayak. They are large, mild-mannered creatures that seek out the warmer water of springs and rivers in Florida during the winter. We also found plenty of turtles and one baby alligator. And don't forget the large variety of birds we saw along the way. It was a very pleasant day paddling out on the river.
This is Boneyard Beach. It has tons of driftwood on it. Very interesting, very different. Well, this is Big Talbot Island. As we were walking along Boneyard Beach, we spotted an American bald eagle in a pine tree. We found the gigantic Safe Harbor Seafood Market near our Jacksonville campground. And being from New Orleans, I wanted some of everything they had. Fresh seafood is always the best.
Our last excursion while we were in Florida was to Fernandina Beach, where we walked along the marina and were invited aboard a gentleman's yacht.
After leaving Florida, we traveled north along the Atlantic coast. For more adventures, please like, subscribe, and ring the little bell to be notified of upcoming videos in Season 2. If you have any comments about the places that we have been and you have also been there, please leave us a comment.
Thanks for watching.